Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Supernatural, episode 1403, titled The Scar, which premiered Thursday, October 25th, 2018 on the CW. I'm recording almost 3 hours after the episode was aired, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes, so let's start the clock, and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, I think it's the day after the events of 1402, or however long it takes for Sam and Dean to drive from Duluth back to the bunker again. So there's that. It pretty much continues where 1402 left off, except for like the drive there, pretty much. Episode reminder, though, I'm going to say is Kaya's doppelganger. We see her return once again, last time seen in, I believe, 1310. Yeah. So there's that. Episode breakdowns, 2 specific storylines I picked up on. First one being the mystery behind Dean's new scar, and the second one being fixing a witch's hex. So with the first storyline with Dean's new scar, we find out that Michael managed to get injured enough that the wound in Dean's shoulder scarred over. This leads them to doppelganger Kaya, or killer Kaya, I would say, and it was her spear that hurt Michael. He had first sought her out to kind of recruit her. She refused, fought him, and ended up stabbing him in the shoulder enough to have Michael shout in pain. We found out that all Dreamwalker Kayas were connected. What one saw, the other one saw. So whatever happened to original Kaya, killer Kaya saw as well, as if it was her. We also find out that killer Kaya's intended target was Claire, not her own doppelganger. So there is that. With this, I'll leave it at that. But the Winchesters don't end up with the spear, so we'll go with that. Second storyline pretty much deals with one of the hunters from the Apocalypse World coming back with a survivor from a witch kill, only to have them be hexed with a rapid aging spell. Castiel stays behind and try to do a reversal spell under the advisement of Rowena, who's not shown, so it's more of like off-screen interactions there. We also see Jack helping out and also figure out a way to actually heal the survivor after listening to her story of how she ended up in the witch's care to begin with. So I'll leave it with that. And the last scene of the episode shows Jack coughing up a lot of blood, and it's happening in secret. So it wasn't just a one-time deal where like he started coughing and then it resulted in blood. His whole trash can was filled with bloody tissues. So there's that. Tidbit-wise, I got a bunch of this for tidbits. One, Dean does not like Sam's grief beard, and that was actually in the sneak peek clip that they revealed a few hours before the episode aired. Also, Sam has the new nickname Chief, given by the Apocalypse Hunter, something he tries to get them to not call him that. But we do see the bunker busy with those hunters again. So they all must have been on their own separate hunts in the previous episode when it was empty. Also, we find out that Nick has left the bunker with only a note, and they don't know where he's gone. So there's that. We also see Jack having the initial plan to run away and try to venture out on his own, which he doesn't do when he sees the Hex survivor. So there's that. We also see Dean comparing his possession to drowning that he just couldn't escape from, and he tells this to Sam at the very end of the episode. And then we get Jody making an implied comment about Kaya being Claire's first lost love. Pretty sure that's the way I took it. Not sure if that's true or not, but that's the impression I got. So I'll leave it at that. We also got an update on the Wayward Sisters. Alex is still working at the hospital. Patience is still in school. And Claire is still Claire, but she has a deal with Jody that any creature or supernatural cases, it's Claire's territory, and any of the human ones is Jody's territory as sheriff still. But there is no update about Donna, though. So there's that. Also, Mary and Bobby were mentioned to having stayed behind in Duluth to deal with the bodies left in Michael's wake. So they're not seen in this episode. So death tally or end tally, let's move to that. We get the enhanced vampires, all killed by Kaya. So with these vampires, they are immune to dead man's blood, and they don't have a reaction to the sunlight. Like before, vampires, they wouldn't do their dealings in the sun. I mean, they didn't get burned in the sun, but it's more like they like an allergic reaction to them, and so they just avoided the sun. But this one, they were tracking Kaya in broad daylight. So I mean, with some tree coverage, but still. But anyways, we also the witch. She was killed by Hunter Jules off screen, but she is a death in the episode. And then I guess you can kind of count Laura. She's the survivor of the witch. She was the last survivor of the witch's prisoners, and then she technically died. But then when Jack figured out what was wrong with her, she was revived when he broke the spell that was placed on her. So there's that. So she kind of counts. But moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I would have to say, first one being Jack's health being at stake. I wasn't expecting that. I literally thought he was catching his first cold. And then the second one being that Michael fears Kaya's spear. So there's that. Moving on, though, to top 3 favorite moments, I will say the first one would have to be Jack figuring out the witch's spell, and then having Castiel being proud of Jack for doing that. It was really great to see Jack figure it out and also explain himself and his reasonings as to why he believed that, and then going through with his plan, following his gut and all that. So I really like that. It shows great growth for Jack in trying to help others without needing to rely on his powers. So there's that. Another favorite of mine was just seeing Jody Mills again. It was great to see her kind of get a little update. Her interactions with both Sam and Dean were just fantastic. And then also to see her own reaction to seeing Kaya's doppelganger, and then her emotional reaction to what it's like to be raising hunters and dealing with that fear every day of not knowing if they're going to come home to her. So it's just great to see Jody all around. You really get a lot from her when she comes in for a visit. So there's that. Another favorite of mine has to be Dean opening up to Sam about being possessed. I mean, for a lot of the episode, he was just brushing it off, claiming he wasn't aware of what Michael did, but then to actually get a description from Dean, a description that could be relatable, like in this sense, it's drowning and like you can't escape from that. That's a normal thing that people could easily relate to, as opposed to like some weird description that like it's out of this world type of thing. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent here, but I just like the fact that Dean did open up to Sam about it. I'm glad that we didn't have to wait like half a season to get that. But yeah, it was just great to have him admit that this is what he's dealing with, and he's going to try to work at it. So I'll leave it at that. And a bonus favorite, I guess you could say, I appreciate the flashbacks we got of Killer Kaya meeting Michael. I appreciate that more than like if she was telling them. It was great to see that bit of Michael, and it shows a huge difference in fighting styles. I mean, we got earlier in the episode, we got Killer Kaya going against Dean, and in the flashback, we see her going against Michael, and just seeing the vast difference. I appreciated that. Plus, it just shows how much more in control Michael is with his movements and how strategic he is when he fights, while Dean is more impulsive when he's in the fray of things. So it was just very interesting to see that difference. And Jensen does a really good job of differentiating between the two. So there's that. Now moving on to top 3 peeve moments. The only peeve I really had is the fact that now I have to worry about Jack's health. So there's that. But from that, what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? The fact that we do get Dean back. I'm a little less inclined to believe that Michael is hiding out in Dean and kind of having him like be a Trojan horse. But it's great to have Dean back. Again, I have that mixed feelings like I mentioned in the previous episode video. So there's that. And I also will remember because Jody was in this episode. So there's that. Moving on to random questions. I do have a lot of questions basically pertaining to Killer Kaya. First one is, I wonder if we would have gotten this episode if the Wayward Sisters spinoff was picked up. If that was picked up, would we have gotten this whole episode bit with Killer Kaya and her connection to Michael and all that? That's one there. Second question is, if the Kayas could see what each other sees, is it possible that they feel what each other feels as well? Because if you remember the original Kaya, she said she always woke up from nightmares about the bad place, and when she did, she always ended up with cuts and bruises on herself. So I'm wondering if she was actually traveling there, or if those cuts and bruises was because of the bad place Kaya getting all injured and everything, and it just kind of transferred to our own Kaya, and there's the timer. So that was another question there. Third question was, is there any chance that Kaya's spear is like the lance of Michael? I mean, the weapon I'm referring to is the one that the Prince of Hell Ramil had that almost killed Castiel in season 12. Crowley ended up snapping it, but I'm wondering if Killer Kaya's spear is meant to be that particular one, or if it's supposed to be a version of that one. So there's that. Fourth question, if Kaya could tell the strength difference in Dean and Michael, I mean, she called Dean out on being weaker than Michael, then did she just verify that Michael is truly vacated or truly gone from Dean's body? Because if that's the case, then I guess we can push away any worries about Michael using Dean as a Trojan horse. So there's that. Another question is, did Killer Kaya want Claire dead because of the potential complications she could have caused in regards to our Kaya, or the Kaya net of Kayas, if you were, just because of, I only asked the question because of Jodie's comment about how Claire reacted very badly to Kaya's death, and saying it was, specifically saying first love when talking about it. So, that's my question for that. And my last question is, whatever happened to the handprint burn that was on Dean's shoulder when Castiel raised him from hell? And isn't the new scar from the spear in that handprint spot? Like, I don't know if it was actually said in the show, or if we as the fans have just written it off as such, but I know that I've heard around the fandom that every time Dean's body had to get resurrected that first time, I don't know when, but that's when it healed all his injuries, including the handprint scar that he had from season 4. So I'm wondering if that's what happened, but I don't recall it ever being touched upon on the show. And I'm wondering if, like, the handprint has been gone for a long time, and I just totally bypassed it, forgetting about it. Because, again, it's been so long. I mean, it's been 10 years since he first got that handprint. So I'm just wondering what the answer is for that. But I'll move on from that since the timer did go off. But let's go to predictions. So based off the promo for 1404, it's a Halloween-based one because we see a lot of mysteries surrounding a comic book store. We see Dean geeking out at that store. We also see lots of Halloween costumes, a killer being on the loose for Halloween, making it tricky to catch them. So there's that. Based off the synopsis, though, for 1404, it reads that Dean continues to struggle. And meanwhile, Sam must think fast when action figures come to life and our heroes find themselves living in a real-life horror movie. That should be interesting. Granted, the episode airs November 1st, but it'll be interesting to get an actual Halloween-centric episode. I think the last one that really comes to mind is the one in season 4. Yes. I think there's slightly 2 of them that was season 4. The Oktoberfest one and then that monster movie one. So there's that. But otherwise, I think that's pretty much it, guys. What did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and opinions about all that. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all the good stuff, all found in one place. Go check that out. I am behind, but I'm catching up. There's that. Also, if you want to check my WordPress account, the link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected to WordPress. It's more organized, but it's still a work in progress, so keep that in mind as well. Also, if you want a detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, check out my Livejournal entry link down below. It really is me summarizing what I see on screen with in-moment comments, questions, all that. It helps me keep things aligned for the episode because later on I do tend to forget things. So if it helps you out, fantastic. But this is really something that helps me that I thought might help you guys. Because I know it takes a while for like some transcripts to be put out there or some YouTube clips to be out there. But I know that when I'm trying to put things back in order, my recap does help me. So I hope it helps you in some way as well. But otherwise, that is pretty much it, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next time to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.